Hey friends, we are approaching the end of May and I thought I would do a garden tour because there have been some big changes in the last week and I'm hoping to have even more big changes in the very near future. So first we have the raised bed here on our porch and you can see the lavender is flowering, which is pretty exciting. I had cut this all back when I realized it was about to flower and it shot up these long shoots to flower anyway. I think that's because it's reaching towards the sunlight, which happens over here on the porch, but that's okay. I mean, she's doing really well and she's really healthy despite being grown in full shade. My experience with most of the raised herb garden is that if it's in full sun, during summer, the whole thing gets scorched and dies. My lettuce here, not doing that great. In fact, not doing good at all. It's very tiny, as you can see, compared to, let me show you on the other side of the door here. This is the lettuce that I kept in little pots. And this stuff is doing way better. So I'm not sure why. They're both in full shade. Hi, Scratch. Hi. You want to say hello? You want to say hello? Say hi. I'm part of the garden. Yes. So we've got some lettuce here. Some of it's doing really well. Some of it's still kind of small. I think I might take my first harvesting of this soon. I've tried a couple of different leaves from the lettuce up here, but to be honest, it's all pretty bitter. So I think it's just not like grown up enough maybe, but I don't know how to make it grow faster. I've also got some volunteers here that I'm not sure what they are. We've got one here, and then one over here. And they don't look like the lettuce, so I have no idea what they are. But that's kind of fun. The rest of the herb garden, the sweet mint is kind of taken off here, as you can see. Probably need to do a good prune on that. Rosemary, which is my favorite scent. Oh, it smells so good. She's doing okay. She's real skinny, like that. But I had actually moved her earlier in the season. She was like kind of horizontal and it took up a lot of space. So I actually just like dug up the root ball and turned her to this orientation, so that way I could plant more things here and still keep the two rows, the back one and then the front one. We've got English thyme, basil. Basil's doing a little bit rough. I mean, the soil's moist, so I don't know. She's been watered. And then here we've got the parsley, which seems to have really attracted a lot of bugs, the parsley flowers. I don't know what that kind of bug is. Anybody know what that is? I'm also thinking, oh, yep, those are bugs. I was like, I don't know if that's just because right there you could see it's perfectly in the center of a flower bud, but one just started moving. There's like one on each of these flower buds in this bunch. Those are all bugs too. So I need to get out here with my Captain Jack's organic spray that I just picked up yesterday and I think spray the whole parsley down. But honestly, I could also just cut off the flowering heads because that's the only part that's attracting the bugs, it seems. So I'm not really sure. I thought it would be kind of fun to have it flower though. Add a little bit more interest up here. And then the oregano I started from seed, growing very, very slowly. I don't know why. Maybe because it's just a little bit too densely planted. Let's see here. Let me pull up some of them. Maybe kind of thin it out a little bit. That might help. But I'm not sure. It's growing really slow, just like the lettuce from seed. I don't know why all of these more established plants are doing so much better than the ones started from seed, but it is what it is, I suppose. And then over here, the Lenten Rose, which you can see is pretty much all dried up for the year, but I've been keeping the dried flowers on it just for visual interest because I think it looks prettier than just having the greenery. And then I think this is Vinca Vine, and she's doing wonderfully. I ended up taking out all the Alyssum that I had planted. You can see here, in between each set of these 4 vines, there are 4 that go around the perimeter here. I had an Alyssum planted between each of them, and the Alyssum was really doing poorly. I think it needed full sun, whereas this is a full shade plant. So I went ahead and took that out and put it in the garden bed, where it does seem to be rebounding a little bit. So these vines are getting so long. Look at that. I really like it. Bunch of seed starting here. This round was a lot more successful. I think this is my 4th round of seed starting. And I think today I want to go ahead and transplant a lot of these. This one's not doing so great though. I'll have to try to figure out why this one's not doing good, but all the other ones have pretty good germination there. This one's struggling a little bit too. I think some of them might just take longer to come up. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Some of these are sunflowers right here. I think these need to go get transplanted today would be ideal, because not only are they sunflowers and then they'd be in full sun if I transplant them, but also they're getting pretty big and it's gonna rain tonight. So I thought that would be really nice to take some work off my plate by transplanting them before it rain. That way I don't have to go in and hand hose the entire garden and have it soak. Kind of take off the seed pod there. The outside of the seed just kind of like reps. It doesn't always fall off of the leaves as the first set of leaves emerge. Sometimes the seed pod gets like stuck on the top, and you can kind of help the plant out a little bit by just taking the dried seed casing off. So that way the leaves can go ahead and open up and get their sunshine. So there are 4 of those. And then over here, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this actually. I think I might try gifting a couple to a friend, maybe to the neighbors. But these are green beans. And then what else do we have? We also have 1 sugar snap pea right there. And I transplanted, you can see a ton of them are gone. I transplanted them in the garden. I'm so excited to show you that part of the garden. But I still have these ones that are left over. This one can probably get tossed. You can see its leaves are pretty destroyed by something. But the rest of them look pretty good. And then I think I might want to transplant that first row of flowers there. Those are all zinnias. And I have no idea why, but this first row here, tons of zinnias germinated. In the back, not really anything. Some of them you can tell have germinated and kind of died actually. So I'm not sure about that. Here we've got, oh good, those are the Carnival bell peppers right here on the very end. My first 2 times of seed starting them did not work. So I'm really excited. Actually, no, I take this back. This is the second time I tried seed starting. It took like 3 weeks for them to germinate. I've already transplanted a ton of this, like this whole half has been transplanted out in the garden already. And this just germinated, this last column. It took forever to germinate compared to the other ones in here. But it's coming along. I am still learning all of this. Very much a learner. So absolutely love the way my planter is looking right now, and the matching one over there. It brings so much color and fun here. I've got a lot of stuff going on. Evergreens that flower in the winter here. One of them's pretty small, one of them's pretty big. I think I'm gonna bring the big one into the shade, and hopefully that'll kind of stunt its growth a little bit so this one can catch up, because they were bought at the same time and I'd really like them if they were the same size. I don't know, I like that kind of symmetry. Just like this arrangement right here is symmetrical to that arrangement. They've got all the same flowers in them and they're the same pot. I obviously need to do some cleanup of the deck back here. This was a ton of prunings I did from a dahlia plant that I had bought from the store, and I tried to do basically rooting the cuttings of the dahlia, and that did not work. Would not recommend that from a store-bought dahlia. I also, when transplanting the dahlia I had bought from the store, and this was really surprising to me because this dahlia plant, it was huge and had tons of blooms all over it, and it had cost me like 30 bucks. Well, there is no roots or no bulb underneath of it. There are only roots, so it hasn't actually developed its bulb yet. I don't know if that has to do with why the cuttings didn't work, but I need to empty that out. Over here, we've got some stuff going on that I just kind of need to clean up. And then I will show you the most exciting part of the garden and the changes. Lots of stuff going on over there. So as we come down here, we've decided to get rid of this grill, and on our registry for our wedding, we have a new grill on there. So very excited, hopefully get a Home Depot gift card or a contribution to the new grill that we both really, really like and want. I'm not sure if that can go yet. I'll have to ask my fiance. These posts I need to get put in the raised garden beds and run some twine for some of the flowers that are going to need extra support later in the season, like the dahlias. And then we've got some extra compost there, the pile of bricks that is supposed to line this little L area back here, which has our trash on it. And I actually just picked up the rest of the supplies I need for this, which is like landscaping fabric. I also need to add a little bit more topsoil. You can see it kind of goes down right here. I need to add a little bit more topsoil right here and level it out, and then I can go ahead and get working on this project and hopefully get it finished up, because I think that'll look a lot nicer. I'm really hoping that sometime later, I have no idea how much later, probably not this year, that we can get this redone, because this is just, it is all wonky and unlevel because it has settled over the last 10, 20, 25 years that it's been here. So moving on into the yard, there is our persimmon tree. Doesn't she look so good? She got a little dried out. This past week has been all 90s and no rain. We're supposed to get rain tonight, finally. And so I gave the base of the tree a good soaking overnight the other night. And as you can see, she needs some more support here. We need to add another support thing because, yeah, she's just kind of getting blown all around in the wind there, which we do not want. But she is looking great. I actually found a little fruit on the ground the other day. She had gotten her first fruit and dropped it. I'm guessing because it was so dry she dropped it. So I gave her a good watering, and I haven't really looked to see if I could find any other fruit. I do not know. However, I think because she did get her first fruit and drop it, that I should do another round of slow release fertilizer at the base, probably do it a little wider than I did the first time I applied fertilizer this season, because Garden Answer had talked about like the optimal times to fertilize, and it's like the very beginning of the season when they're starting to break dormancy, and then also when they first start to set fruit or flower, and they're going to need a lot of extra energy and such to keep production going. So listening to that advice, I think it's about time we add another stake and do another round of fertilizer for the tree. And I'm doing everything organic. I had tried to fix the lawn earlier in the season. Hey Claire, I'm not going inside yet. I'm not going inside yet, baby. And you can see that didn't work. It is still lots of red clay peeking through what is actually clover. Most of our yard here is actually clover. And my fiance wants to tear it all up and just like start over with grass seed, like kill everything, all the weeds basically, and then just start over from seed for grass. But I've been working on him a little bit over the last couple of months, trying to convince him not to, because I've been doing some research on ground covers, and clover is actually a lot more beneficial for soil quality than grass is. And also, we live in Charlotte, North Carolina, which is on the North Carolina, South Carolina border. It's really hot. Like all this week at the end of May has been 90s, in the 90s, and no rain at all. So hot and dry sometimes. And grass requires a lot more water than some other beneficial ground covers like clover, which just naturally flourishes here whether we get rain or not. Like this is it without any rain, and it was just mowed last week, and you can already see there's all new flowers on it. And then obviously the beneficial pollinators really like it. So you can see a carpenter bee over there. He's having a lot of fun. Hello, dogs. Both of the dogs enjoying the shade there because it's rather hot out. But they like to come outside with me when I come out here because they never know if it's going to be an exciting time or not. Poor little Claire there, you can see her leg. She spent the night at the animal hospital the other night. We thought she had a lip infection. Her fur on her leg looks all messed up because they had to shave around a spot of her leg to sedate her in order to do the biopsy, to send it off to get tested to figure out what's going on. And then back behind our yard here, this is a totally transformed space. I was so worried about it at the beginning of the season, oh my goodness, because it's so ugly. When you first see it in early spring, it's disgusting and just like tons of bare ground and not pretty at all. However, you can see we get something back there. I'm not sure what kind of like ground cover that is. It looks beautiful though, whatever it is, and it really flourishes in the shade back there. So that's doing really well and growing in patches. I don't know what it is in order to like get it to come closer to the back of our fence, but things are starting to look more alive back here. We obviously still have some dead trees and such that are really ugly, but there's not a whole lot I can do about that. Everything filled in with green. You know, by the beginning of summer, here we are. You could still see this big pile of branches and such back there that just looks really ugly. It's better than it being like all over here, but I think for next year, I want to plant something at the base of that, like climbing roses or something. I'm not sure. It's pretty much a full shade spot with some dappling of sunlight, which is good because it means the soil retains its moisture for longer, which is good because I don't water back behind here. This isn't our property, and I don't want to have to maintain plants back there. However, I don't know if it gets enough sunlight that some kind of climber would actually like do well back there, like roses or something. But some kind of greenery or vine or something to kind of camouflage the dead stuff, like this dead tree that goes sideways. I was thinking maybe like clematis or something could like grow and wrap around that. Something back there to camouflage that big mass of sticks that'll probably rot very, very slowly over the next 20 years after all that work I did gathering them. But I know that it's already been beneficial for the wildlife because we had some deer hiding behind there the other day, which they really like because we have 2 dogs and a cat, and the dogs bark, well, one of the dogs barks whenever he sees deer, and it scares the deer. And so I saw them hiding behind here the other day, and they seem to feel pretty sheltered back there. Another thing I do for the deer, squirrels, rabbits, whatever might be back there, is I try to, anytime we have fruit go bad, like apples, oranges, anything like that, I try to cut them into quarters and throw them back behind that pile. That way hopefully they can eat some, you know, some stuff. I'm sure they're doing just fine finding food in the little wild back here, but It's always nice when you can throw some nuts or some fruit or something and know that they've got an apple pile back there. Plus, I like knowing they're closer to our property because they're safe, whereas if you go like less than a quarter mile that way, there's a very, very busy road and there's an apartment complex right back there. So there's really just like a large triangle of land here that they can hang out in unless they cross that busy road. So I like to try to bait them and keep them safe, if that makes sense. Anyway, this has turned into a very long story. But the point is that back behind our fence has really grown in, and you do still see the ugly of some of the dead stuff, but it's a lot greener than it was at the beginning of the season when I was really worried about how ugly it was. So it looks a lot more lively. And now I will show you the raised garden beds, which I'm so excited. This is the space I was talking about that has transformed so much over the last week. We'll start at the shaded part down here, or partially shaded spot here. We've got the Dahlia plant that I had bought from the store, which has no tubers under it. It's all roots. I'm really hoping at the end of the season that it will have grown a tuber. I don't know. You can see the leaves are looking pretty rough. Apparently bugs just love dahlias. So I went ahead and picked up some Captain Jack's organic spray, and I want to come out here and treat everything that has been a host lately. That way we can get rid of some of those bugs that are not beneficials without hurting the beneficial bugs. It's really windy out. A storm just blew in. Can you see this big tree right here in the neighbor's yard going crazy? Oh, and it is starting to rain a little bit. So I'm gonna try to hurry up and wrap this up. My chrysanthemums are coming up really nice. We have got some dianthus back there, and I love this so much. How beautiful is this plant? Oh my gosh. I want so much more of it. I just want these like pink cattails everywhere. I absolutely love it. And then this is a dwarf variety of a hydrangea, and as you might be able to see there, we got our first little buds, and those will turn into white flowers at some point. The rest don't have any buds on them yet, so I think this might just be a later blooming variety. Again, some more stuff that I started from seed back here. This, I think, was a dianthus that I cut back hard, and it seems like it is starting to come back a little with that green there. We'll see. Some more seed starts. Another chrysanthemum. This is a calabraca. Really pretty. Love those colors. I believe this one's an annual. And then we've got more seed starts here that are just going nuts. Look at that. Huge. And then some that were transplanted later, started later. Another chrysanthemum, another one of these that I absolutely love. And you can see we got more seeds popping up here. And in here, I think I might, I'm not sure, I think I might have some dahlias sprouting up from tubers that I had gotten. I hope that's what's going on right here underneath of some of these plants. This lovely, lovely, lovely first blooms of the season for this hydrangea bush, and I'm really excited. These should, in the next couple of weeks, bloom right up full of pink flowers. They might start off white and then go pink, I'm not sure. It's a variety of hydrangea that is pink and white. Really, really pretty. As you can see, not all of them have their blooms on yet. Some of them are just starting. And that's kind of the beautiful thing about this hydrangea, is that different parts bloom at different times, which is why some of them will be white, some of them will be dark pink, some of them will be light pink, and it's just this mixture of beauty with the different tones. We've got more seed starts here. Look at this one. So proud. Doing really awesome. We've got some more back there. I really love this color of foliage. It's like a sage green, kind of dusty green. Another chrysanthemum, and then we've got lots of space here for more seed transplants. This is my Columbine, and she is looking really rough. We've got some more annuals here. Absolutely love this like cottage garden style to have things kind of weaving in and out in drifts. This one I'd have to look up the tag. I just got this one and I pruned it back pretty hard, took off all the dead little flowers there, so hopefully it'll start to rebloom really quickly. We've already got one bloom right here coming in. Lots of space in this bed too for more of my seed transplants. More chrysanthemum, more seed starts, another dianthus here. Let's see if I can go ahead and just kind of pick these really quick. They come back so fast. I usually try to go all the way down to the ground and grab it, but honestly they grow up so quick here. Look at that. I just did this bed the other week. Unfortunately, with this bed, we've got these beds right here and these beds right here. I did not put landscaping weed fabric at the bottom because I had that raspberry bush at the end and I wanted it to be able to put its roots down as far as it wanted to establish. So the weeds just keep popping up like crazy. Those two were put in at a later date, and I did put the landscaping fabric underneath of them because I had already started to see how much of a pain in the butt this was going to be, constantly pulling all the weeds out of it. So let's get this real quick. All right, so this is the really fun part. We've got some new additions to the garden. I picked up all the supplies for this and had an idea in mind. I was just gonna do wood right here, like 4 wood posts, and then wrap this wire around it. Well, my fiance is very much a do it right or don't do it at all person, and I was able to get him to help me with the project. But that means it came out totally different than my vision and way more supported, way more strong, and way prettier. So you can see we've got some cross beams here to really support it, which is great because right now it's about to be a really windy thunderstorm. We've got cross beams here, there, and it's just so beautiful, I think. I really want another one right here, but I think maybe for this year, this is all I'm gonna try to handle. I also added in and picked up some bee homes for the beneficials. Hopefully the carpenter bees will stop dwelling in our fence posts. They have homes all along here this year, and drilling all those holes into those fence posts for them to lay their eggs in, it really weakens the wood and we have to end up replacing it super quickly. So hopefully these next year will help the structural integrity of the fences and give the bees an easier spot to lay their eggs instead of them burrowing holes here. And then on this new lattice trellis, oh, I love it so much. This little arbor, the dogs are going crazy because their dad just got home. So we have got, oh no, there's some ants moving in back there. I'm gonna have to sprinkle that with some ant stuff. Or maybe I'll have to check the Captain Jack spray. Maybe that treats for ants as well. I have got green beans and sugar snap peas that are gonna be growing all the way up through this. I'm so excited. I transplanted them just less than a week ago and they are doing so well. I know people say not to transplant beans and peas, but I think they're doing beautifully. Gorgeous. So I cannot wait to see this whole thing covered with sugar snap peas and green beans. It's gonna be really fun. We've got some alyssum right here, another alyssum, which is totally dead. I can go ahead and pull that. We've got some seed starts right here. Looks like they got a little bit dried out, but it is about to rain. And then back here, we've got 2 different dianthus, some more seed starts sprinkled in. You can see I kind of try to like do things in the drifts there. Another chrysanthemum growing in strong. This is not a seed start. This is another one of those weeds. Ugh, look at that. Crazy. And these were the first seed starts of the year that I transplanted, and look how well they're doing. They are so tall and I am so proud. Look at these babies. That is amazing. They're so big. And we got some more back here. I am excited. Ooh, you can see some slugs have been crawling in the bed. You see that shiny residue on the top? You can actually see their entire path. Whoa, that's gross. Maybe they've been eating my alyssum. Look at all that. That is nasty. Oh yeah, they were all up on this plant. But this alyssum is looking really good. She's rebounded nicely. The rest of them look really sad, but what can you do? More of my first seed start and seed transplant, and this is thrilling. This is actually my first bloom of the year. My first bloom of the year from a seed transplant or a seed start that I did myself, which is very exciting. And oh my goodness, look at this. I think actually at the end of each of these shoots, I might get a bloom. This whole thing might be covered in flowers from one single stalk at the bottom. That's exciting. We've got some more flowers in here, some more of the first seed starts and transplants I did. And then you can see my raspberry bush over here is needs a really good prune. She kind of died pretty hard. Yeah, that was my bad. She's coming up with lots of new growth, but I definitely need to take this stalk out and yeah, let it send all of its energy to all of this new stuff and also create space for the new stuff to grow up and get trellised to the stakes here. So that's how everything is looking. As you can see, it's quite the transformation. Some of the beds are starting to look really full now, and I'm really excited. I think I could fit some more transplants from the seed starts up here, and obviously they'll all grow at different rates, and some were started like a month after these ones, a month and a half after these ones, which means I'll get blooms all throughout different parts of the season, which will be amazing. And yeah, I'm just most excited about this, and the little bee houses are so cute. I feel like the garden is really coming together, and I hope you have enjoyed this garden tour for the end of May 2021. And I'm so excited. I can't wait to hopefully get some beautiful hydrangea blooms soon. Can't wait till this is all like pink and white and beautiful. That's gonna make such a statement. And fill in the rest of these beds with more of my seed starts. So that's what we've got going on in the garden now. Very exciting. Our little persimmon tree, and that's where we will end it. Bye guys, thank you so much for watching along.